Hello, everybody. This is Anuj Tripathi, and you are watching TRU, aka the Review Universe podcast. So, in this podcast, we have conversation with authors regarding their book, their journey, and their inspiration behind their books. So, today's guest is Varun Chaturvedi, the author of The Buddha and the Ballot, Bihar, known yet unseen. With over 2 decades of experience in telecom leadership across India and Myanmar, Varun brings a unique perspective that combines business, geopolitics, governance, history, and civilization. His book explores a thought provoking question: how can the birthplace of Buddhism and the world's richest and one of the India's richest civilizations remain economically and politically underdeveloped? Today, we will dive into history, politics, development, and the future of Bihar. So, Varun sir, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, whoever is listening you or watching you first time on the YouTube, so how would you describe yourself as an author of this book?
First of all, thanks for having me on this podcast. I'm really excited. This was my first book as an author. As you have already highlighted, I come with 24 plus years of experience in the corporate world. I started from my career in India, and then I moved on to Southeast Asian markets. I worked with multiple markets, Myanmar being the longest where I have stayed. And in 2017, this book actually dates to 2013, not 2017, also 2013. 2013, when I was in Bihar, Gaya, I went to Bodh Gaya temple, and I saw that there were other monasteries from different countries. If you go there, you will see that there is Chinese monastery, there is a Thailand monastery. So it struck to me that this one religion that has, started in India has roots across so many countries. And as a student of geopolitics, I also started to dig deep into it. 2017, when I came to Myanmar, I found so much of resemblance. People did not know Bihar. People only know Calcutta. People know Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai. Delhi because it's the state capital,
Yep.
Calcutta because of some proximities, because there are a lot of migrants. Chennai for healthcare, Mumbai, Bollywood.
Yep.
Bodh Gaya, yes, because it's the place of Buddha. Bihar, no. So
Okay.
nobody knows about Bihar. They know about Buddhism, they know about Bodh Gaya. Similar was my interaction with people in Thailand, people in Indonesia, where I met a lot of people. Nobody knows about Bihar as a state. They know about, again, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, but not about Bihar. So I think somewhere down the line, this stuck to me that a state from where this great religion has taken shape and birth. Unfortunately, people don't know about this state, and wherever I saw, where a religion has taken birth, those places have flourished a lot. You look at the Roman Catholic city and all that. But if you look at Bodh Gaya, Bihar, one of the poorest states in India, social indicators are not very good. Then I started to dig deep into it. I got to know about the diaspora. One of my friends in Myanmar is actually an Indian of South African of Indian origin. He was, not very sure about his own origin in India because his grandparents left India in 1860, 1870,
Mhm.
the East India Company activity that happened. But he used some typical words which are used in the Purvanchal, which is part of Eastern UP and Bihar.
Yeah.
Then I got to know about a lot is happening in the diaspora of UP, Bihar. People don't connect back to their roots. And that is the main, you can say, the thought behind writing this book, The Buddha and the Ballot.
Okay. So, like, you have a perspective of living in Myanmar and the perspective of people who is living in Myanmar. So, what is the exact perspective, if you can explain about Bihar and about Bodh Gaya they have?
So Bihar, they have zero perspective because they don't know this place. Bodh Gaya, yes, it's a divine place for them. It's like the Makkah of Buddhism. So every Buddhist in his lifespan wants to visit Bodh Gaya. They do complain about the infrastructure. They complain about the connectivity. They complain about, you can say, the place is not up to the standards. I have met a couple of good Thai friends of mine. They said that this place should be well developed. I have met Japanese friends. For them also, the connectivity is not there. Flight airport is not up to the international standard as it should be, like the Swarnabhumi. So just imagine someone takes a flight, high international flight from Swarnabhumi Airport, Bangkok, and lands at Bodh Gaya. What will he feel about the place? So this is the same reflection which people have about this. And if you look at the entire Buddha circuit, which is there, Rajgir is there, so somewhere people don't find that quality of infrastructure which would help them connect with the state, with the religion. Obviously, religion is something which is close to their heart. So they come, they stay, but they don't like to explore too much, except for the temple and the Rajgir and few other places. They don't explore because they find it not very up to the mark in terms of infrastructure to stay and all that. And among the youth, it is not very popular. That's an honest reflection. Old people, yes, they think that now we have fulfilled all our duties before the closing time in the world. Let's visit and stay some time in the Bodh Gaya. So that is the overall feel about Bihar as a state in the minds of people outside India.
Okay, so like according to you, what are the main reasons, or you can say what are the some specific reasons which we can say like Bodh Gaya is failing right now?
See, if you read this book, the title itself is Buddha and the Ballot. So, ballot basically represents our democracy. Now, what is happening, unfortunately, in the last 70, 75 years, because of the seats, parliamentary seats, this is again my personal view about this entire book. That since the route to the parliament is crossing through Lucknow and Patna, somewhere the development has not happened. Right? Maybe it's scripted in that way that if the people are uneducated, if the people are deprived of the basic lifestyle, they would believe the leaders what they are trying to tell. But the moment you have educated mass in terms of the quality that we compare with the Western world, if you have that kind of a breed, if you have people who have basic lifestyle at par with India, not the world, they would not tend to listen to you, right? Then there would be a lot of questions, there would be a lot of cannibalization of votes, and that would happen. So somewhere I feel this was a deliberate architecture of how the seats have been, how the constituencies have been kept like that. The recent elections that happened in 2024,
Yep,
clearly Bihar played a very important role in the formation of the NDA government, right?
exactly,
Uh, so somewhere I think that it was a purposeful defeat, the state of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, especially Purvanchal, if I look at the eastern UP, where poverty prevailed because of its population. And I think the leaders today sounding apolitical, but I think somewhere the leaders should also work that Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, they are the cradle of Indian civilization. Look at Ram Mandir, that's in UP.
exactly,
Many places are there. If we develop this as a tourist infrastructure, there is no reason why these two states would remain the way they are. And forget about the world. Look at the way people perceive Bihar in India.
definitely,
Jungle Raj, Loot, all the good movies that have been produced. But is that the Bihar? No. The Bihar is very different from what we see or we perceive. It just needs that tinge of development, the zeal of the leaders to make this a world class city. Between Patna and Gaya, what is stopping a high class connectivity metro? Some development has happened. My memories are of 2013 to 2017 when I was there. In fact, I was there since 2008. But my memories, the book memories are of 2013 to 2017. Somewhere, I don't see that much of a development also which has happened over a period of time. And look at how India has developed over the period of time. Gaya needs a high quality international airport where the tourists can come. There should be a Buddha circuit. The Bihari diaspora, nobody talks about that in India. You look at South Africa, clearly there is a huge Bihari diaspora out there. Myanmar, there is a huge Bihari diaspora. But the way the Gujarati or the Punjabi diaspora are spoken or respected, I don't think that has come with the people of Bihar. And that is where this book also talks about the Bihari diaspora that is unspoken in the pages. And I'm not talking about historians. I'm talking about purely the common people. Before writing this book, I also did not know about the diaspora of Bihar. It exists. It is so popular. The food is a lot of connectivity. If you Google something called chutney music, it's very prevalent equivalent in South Africa or the African belt, and it is purely the music that is played in the holy time in the Purvanchal belt of UP, Eastern UP and Bihar. So that culture is there. They don't know it comes from where, and we don't know that that exists in South African part, in the African part, in fact, Trinidad, Tobago, South Africa, Seychelles, many places. So we could not connect the Bihari diaspora back to the state. And for known reasons, no, who would like to be connected to a base which is underprivileged? Or I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell.
Exactly. Like, do you think like despite having that much influence in the national politics of like because of Bihar and UP, they are still underdeveloped? Is this just because of the leaders or the people as well? What's your thought on this?
See, if you divide between people and leaders, obviously leaders lead and people follow, right? When there is a purposeful erosion of education, right? Social injustice is prevalent. What happens is people tend to look for a survival mode rather than a growth mode. Right. When India in 1970s, 80s, most of the states were doing good at that point of time. Bihar was going back, right? Stagnation came in, agriculture completely collapsed. Revenues did not come. People from Bihar moving to all parts of the country and the world for employment. Everything was anti-establishment, and when you especially migrate out of your state, you tend to, being looked down. And when the force is majorly of the laborers, it's not that Bihar only produces laborers. Most of the IS, IPS, railways, they come from Bihar, but the majority that people presume is about the labor class. Similarly, this is how the Bihari diaspora is associated. Even in India, if you look at all the crimes that happen against the Bihari diaspora, is because people think that it is the underprivileged people who have come for labor and all that. Sattu, earlier it was known as poor man's food. Today it is called as super food, because some influencers are now starting to take it as a protein drink.
Exactly.
This is where I think, because of the politicians, if they wanted, they could correct the force. Again, I don't support any ideology, but before 2006, the condition was very bad in Bihar. That is what I hear from the people. I have seen that also when I was there in Bihar. Growth started from there. It could have been in 2002 also. It could have been in 1999 also. But somewhere we missed the bus in Bihar. The
Like
leaders are equally responsible, in
like
fact more responsible.
yeah, like it is kind of contradictory. Like after being like birthplace of Buddhism, still it is kind of little bit much more violent in nature. Like, is this because of people or because of the leadership or because of the land governance? What do you think?
So, Buddhism is a land of peace, religion of peace. I agree, and that has nothing to do with the crime that we saw. People, when they are in survival mode, right, they do everything for their own survival first, and then you listen to what good teachings are coming from any religion, right? Till the time you are not feeling safe, you will not follow any good practice. And this is what happened in Bihar also. Since the law and order completely collapsed, I would say, I think people thought that their safety is in their own hands. And, an eye for an eye makes the entire world blind. And that is what happened there. So I personally feel that the leaders could have intervened, the judiciary could have intervened, and things would have been better. Development needs a strong framework.
Okay, so coming back to the book, like what did you make to choose the title, The Buddha and the Ballot?
So this book is something which very purposefully starts with Buddhism, its roots in Bihar, talks about the diaspora of Bihar spread across the world, and why using the ballot it still remains a poor state. That is the entire concept of this book. The votes of the Bihari people. I think 40 or 45 MP seats are there in Bihar, if I'm not wrong, and that adds up to a good amount of seats in the parliament. Nitish Kumar, Lalu Yadav, all these leaders have played indefinite role between 2000 or 1998 when the coalition concept came into India. 1999, 1996, 1997 it started
Like
till
still we can
2015.
say like Nitish Kumar have much more influence in the national politics as well.
Obviously, he has a very high stakes today.
Yep,
So I think leaders did not support the way they should have supported the society, and at the same time, people also are equally responsible for choosing such leaders. But then, elections were in a different way. So I think the ballot was used in such a way that people vote towards the government in Delhi.
got it. Okay, so you describe Bihar as known yet unseen. So what do you mean by that exactly?
If you see known, yes, everybody talks about Bihar, the social indicators of Bihar. It's a poor state, low literacy, high birth rate. Everything is there, right? So this is what is known about Bihar. What is unseen about Bihar is how the Bihari diaspora has actually influenced the culture of so many countries in the African belt, right? How it has played an important role in the shaping up what we see the African belt, but it is not being spoken about in the real sense. Those people don't connect to their roots. When I came to Myanmar, I was very surprised that a couple of people here, pure from the land of Burma or Myanmar, speaking Bhojpuri. Since I worked in that market, I could understand that language, and I was surprised. And I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Burma." I said, "But you are speaking Bhojpuri." He said, "Yes, this is my language." So he doesn't know that he's coming from, this language is coming from India, Myanmar, India, Patna. So for these kind of people, they are unable to connect back to their roots. Some of the old people, if you ask them, whose great grandparents have come here, they say we are from Kolkata, but they don't know that they are actually from Bihar, because the Bhojpuri that they speak comes from a very place called Dumrao, Buxar, Ara. They don't know these places, but they speak the language of those places because Bhojpuri is also different basis the region.
Exactly.
So I think the unseen Bihar is what people in India should also look at. They should come. They should explore Bihar. I think it's a very important state for us. In fact, both Eastern UP and Bihar, if you look at all the important religious places of Hinduism, are there in these states. So there is no reason why they should remain poor, underprivileged, and the way the social economic indicators are, it should not reflect that. It's a lost opportunity. Actually, I will say they should have been the fastest growing economy within India, and people should have proudly connected with that diaspora, which unfortunately is not.
Okay, so like according to you, what can be the ways like people who are living abroad or like somewhere connected to the Bihari diaspora? So how can they can know and they can learn about their origin and roots?
So see, in Myanmar again, there is a UP Bihar Association of People. So I met a couple of guys here who are a part of that association. I think with YouTube and all that, the social media platforms coming in, people have started to connect back to their roots. They now understand that litti chokha is not only eaten in Myanmar; it is also eaten in India, right? So food, language, and religion, these are the three things that actually connect you with people of the same taste and same language, right? So what actually is required in India, and that is where the central government plays a very important role, is that they should promote. They have the data, they have that visibility in which country, what is the diaspora of India, which is there. I don't want to divide the Indian diaspora on Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh or anything, but when you have a huge diaspora of people sitting outside, they should know. Like in Trinidad and Tobago, there is a very famous dish which they call as potato mash. But the way it is made, it is called chokha in Bihar. So it is the same food with the oil. So in Bihar, they use mustard oil because that is readily available. In
Yep.
Trinidad and Tobago, they use palm oil because they don't have mustard. But it is the same thing, same way it is made. South Africa, same way it is made. So something where rote. So there is a cookie kind of a stuff which is called tekua in Bihar,
Yeah,
which is made during the Chhat festival, right? It is also called rot in Buxar and Dumrao, and that is something which people eat in South African Indian diaspora. They don't know that it comes from Bihar. So somewhere the government of India has to promote this vibrancy of the food, of the religion, of the language, and the diaspora, and that diaspora should get the due respect from the state, and that will only bring people together. And once that is there, it can also be used to project a soft geopolitical power also across the world.
I can relate to you what you are saying because I'm somebody who is living at the border of Bihar, UP, and Chhattisgarh all together. Like I'm
Okay.
currently from MP, Riva. So it is already in the border with UP, Bihar, and Chhattisgarh. So I can relate to that Thekua and Litti Chokha as well. So
Sure.
definitely these are the things which can be known to the people as well who are living in South Africa or Myanmar. You say. So
Mhm.
coming back to the book, like your book discusses what you call the Bihar Trap. So could you explain that exactly? What is the concept behind that?
So this again, again will be coming back to the same point. The trap is very evident. Buddhism comes from there. Sikh guru is born in Patna Sahib. Patna city is a place in very near to Patna only. It's like part of Patna only now. It's called Patna city. It's the old city. Jainism, Tirthankar, his birthplace is also there. So these religions have taken birth or shape in Bihar in some form or the other, and yet, people, they go to those places, but they don't spend the time like they do, say, in Tirupati, or they don't do the same that they do at Golden Temple, Amritsar. Right? Amritsar is developed
Yeah,
because of many tourists, irrespective of the religion, go there. I myself have been to the Golden Temple once. So it also adds to the economy of the place, right?
exactly.
But unfortunately, this is not happening with Bihar. Despite all so many places, Valmiki was born in Buxar, I think. Nobody knows about that. This is where people, the government, the people should be vocal about it. And if this is encashed properly, I think it would be a super economic boom for Bihar and the eastern part of UP. And I don't think there is anything wrong in that. You are highlighting your religion, you're highlighting your culture, you're highlighting your food. And if people can connect, they will be there. But if they are not connecting, what is happening now, Bihar is in a trap of socio-economic dependency on migrant laborers. People are not being looked upon in the way they should have been. The place of Chanakya, you will be surprised to know people know Ashoka in Myanmar,
Okay.
but they don't know Patliputra.
Like
In
even the capital of the.
Yes, capital of the state, they don't know. In Bangkok, there is around 20 kilometers, I think, from Bangkok, there is a place called Ayodhya, which is
Okay.
actually a Thai version of calling Ayodhya. And they don't know that Ram comes from Ayodhya.
Like
Just imagine if Ayodhya and Ayodhya is connected, how much of tourism can we, bring in? And it's not something I have discovered or reinvented the wheel. I have just penned down some thoughts which I got traveling between UP, Bihar, and the rest of the world. And that was my honest attempt to make people understand through my book what I have seen, and if it reaches to more and more people, people read, people connect, people understand, and that's how we can build the bridges. Many more people have written above on the topics that I have written, for sure. But it is my also an appeal to the government that government should now start to take the Bihari diaspora across the globe very, very seriously and try and bring them back to their roots, and at the same time develop the roots also.
you will agree with me, like this is something Bihar has the leverage of having Bodh Gaya and all these cultural roots, and still they are not using this as a leverage.
Yes, 100%.
That's great. Okay, so coming back to the book, who do you think will be the perfect reader for this book? The leaders, the normal people, or some bureaucrats who can give their inputs in this?
See, anyone who is interested in knowing about the history of Bihar, anyone who is knowing is interested in knowing about the Bihari diaspora, I think would be interested in reading this book. This book is a geopolitical attempt to make people understand how a state with so much of resources could have become the soft power for India in the global footprint, but because of the local politics is backward, is underdeveloped, and has such poor socio-economic parameters. So I think this book is a worth read, not because I have written it, but because it gives you a different perspective of Bihar, which I think people should of India also know, and people across the globe should understand the potential of Bihar as a state.
Okay, so concluding to the podcast, one message you want to give to the readers who is going to read this, or before even reading this, what they can expect from this book? Like, what can you change in their mindset after reading this book?
So after reading this book, definitely your mindset for Bihar will change. You will get to know how rich this state is and what wrong has happened to it. And the Bihari diaspora that is in India, I will call diaspora is a wrong word to call, but migrants from Bihar into other states. Your respect for them should go a little up, which I don't find. I have stayed a lot of time in many places in India also. Somewhere they are considered as laborers. No, they are not. They are a culturally rich heritage people, part of a great religion. Where many religions have taken birth, and they have a bigger diaspora outside India also, which needs to be noticed and harvested back into the roots. So that's my feel.
Thank you so much, sir, for this conversation. I would like to discuss more with you in future as well. So I will be looking forward if you like to write another book about this topic.
So I have written one more book, which is not a geopolitical book, and I would just take 2 minutes. The
Sure.
book is The Lone Walker. It's my second book, and that is also available on Amazon, and it is now Amazon bestseller book also. Lone Walker is not geopolitics. It's not about any state. It is about an individual, the struggle in the corporate world. Do give it a try in case you want. I think it's a good book. Small description on what we face in the corporate world, that is also a worth reading.
Definitely, sir. So, whoever watching this podcast on YouTube or listening on Spotify, you can just go to the description. All the book links will be there. And the social media platforms, I will try to attach of Varun sir directly. So, you can just connect to him as well and give your feedback, your personal feedback, and whatever you want to discuss with him. So, thank you so much, sir, for joining in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much,
Bye.
sir.